So, enter St. George, who just happens to be from Tier 2 social climber. So, a few months ago, when the Beacon and I were still tolerant of going in the grotto, this must have been a quiz night or something. Must have been some reason to go down there. We were in there with the husk, and St. George was in, and the Beacon and St. George know each other more than just living in the same village, because St. George used to work at the same building as the Beacon, not part of the same sort of management structure or anything, but just worked in the same building. And I think St. George, has a lot of respect for the Beacon, rightly so, but I think that's probably more to do with the whole social climbing element, to be honest. She's fairly senior within the business, and she does have, generally speaking, a really good reputation. When I say generally, I mean not everybody's your fan, or even if you are really, really good at your job. But yeah, she is a very well thought of professional, and a lot of people do respect her. And she's not greatest or anything like that, so she gives everybody the time of day, and I think that can be seen very positively by a lot of people. So St. George, has got this respect for her, and equally the Beacon, in terms of knowing him, really just through the odd exchange at work and what have you. She thinks he's a nice man. So that night, the Beacon, unintentionally playing Cupid, introduces the husk to St. George, and a new paradigm was created. And St. George is from that Tier 2 now. It's not hugely relevant, but I think maybe it is along the lines of the psychology I was talking about before. Social climber, insecure, always wanting to climb the social ladder, status ladder. I wonder if he would have any attraction, if that's the right word, at all, with the husk if we lived in Tier 1. There's the first question. So, what else? So I don't know this person from Adam. I know he lives in the same village, and I've exchanged very, very, very minor pleasantries if I've ever been in the grotto. But I'm not one of these people that I don't have a need to socialise. I'm not one of these people that just talks garbage for the sake of it. I'm not a nosy person, and I certainly don't share my private life with anybody. So generally speaking, keep myself to myself. If I'm going out for a social drink with somebody, that's the company I'm with. If I go down by myself, just to get out of the house for an hour, I'll sit by myself, maybe chat with the bar staff. Anyway, I don't know this guy from Adam, but I know that his reputation in the village is Mr. Nice Guy. Now, and that's what the Beacon keeps saying. Oh, he's lovely. Everybody thinks he's lovely. Everybody thinks he's nice. Well, that's a red flag to me, and it always was. I'm not going to judge a book by its cover, and I'm certainly not going to judge a book by what other reviews say of the book. I'll make my own judgment. I'll read it. I'll take out the information and I'll judge it for myself. Not that I've got any desire to, but if he's going to be crawling into my family life, then I'm going to judge him when I'm good and ready. I'm the protector. So anyway, red flag from me straight away. Everybody likes him. It's if everybody likes you, you are not you. You are not authentic, and you are a mask for every occasion. You are a people pleaser. You will agree with one person 1 minute, and then the next person the next. Even if what they're saying, their views are complete polar opposites, you'll still agree with them. Because it's more important that you feel liked than being true to yourself. And this is, this is a conformist. This is somebody who wants to get along with everybody, a people pleaser, and wants to be liked. And it's more important to this person, these people, it's more important to be liked by others than to be liked or loved by yourself. Because if you have a different mask for every occasion, who is the real you? Do you even know the real you? And your subconscious knows this. And however long that defense mechanism has been there, because that's what it is, however long that defense mechanism has been there, the real person is buried deep behind all of those masks. And the conscious him won't even be aware whose real self is. What a bold claim I'm making. It's pretty obvious, really. Statistically speaking, it's documented that around 1 in 5 people just won't like you, regardless of what you do. They'll just take a disliking to you, and that's part of life. Good. I'm pleased. Some people won't like us. Keeps you grounded and keeps you in reality. Not like St. George, who lives an illusion of many masks. So if everybody likes him, it means he can't have ever had disagreement with anybody, an argument, or just nobody's just took a dislike to him for no reason. That's some achievement. That's an impossible achievement. And because it's impossible, I'm going to strike it off as being fake. So that's St. George and what I know about him. That was my early impressions. And I said this to the Beacon. And the Beacon, she's the eternal optimist when it comes to giving people a chance. She won't give people, a third and fourth chance. But, certainly to start with, give them a chance. Even a second chance. And then she'll realise she's wasting her time. But anyway, the Beacon thought I was being harsh. And she would say things like, no, don't say he's fake. Just say he's not authentic. Okay, if those words mean anything different, but if it makes you happy, Beacon, I'll do that. I'm not patronising her there. I'm just, she doesn't want to give up on people before she's even given them a chance. And I get that. I'd just like to share my skepticism right from the get-go and see what happens. And then if I'm right, I don't have to convince the person that I was right, because they already know. It's not like I have to say, I knew it. And I don't want to be right. I'm happy to be wrong. But I just always have to let the Beacon know what my thoughts are. She's just, we come as a package and we think as a package, left and right brain in harmony. And as the left and right brain ought to do, is communicate with each other at every level. So my, if I was going to make a prediction, is just another self-loathing, zero self-esteem, no emotional intelligence, and puts on an act to fit every occasion. And I say no emotional intelligence because if you had true emotional intelligence, you would know never, ever to wear a mask, a persona, a fake ID. Because, again, subconscious knows you're betraying it. And every time you betray your true inner self, all you're doing is just creating more and more and more self-loathing. You're creating an inner self which hates itself. Because somebody close to me kept betraying me, I would feel like they hate me. And it's exactly the same with your inner self. Your subconscious. Keep betraying it. It just assumes that you hate it. The difference is here, it's one and the same person. It's just a subconscious and a conscious. Don't betray your subconscious at the conscious level. Be in tune. Be as one with your thoughts, your emotions, and then how you act and behave in the world. Persistence, betrayal will create self-loathing. So, I'm kind of predicting at that time that it's going to be another version of the hospital. Nice sheen, nice glossy exterior, polite, nice, but underneath, just another husk. And maybe that's why they're attracted to one another. Right, just had to pause there. It's getting so windy. It's obviously getting picked up. I hope that was audible. In summary, I'm just saying that anybody who constantly betrays their inner self, puts on a fake mask, creates self-loathing, self-hatred, because anybody who betrays you ultimately hates you. And that's how the self works on a conscious level. Don't betray it on the conscious level. It knows what you're doing. So maybe that's why they're attracted, because they're both on the same frequency, vibration, low level basic instincts. And he's probably seen what he considers a damsel in distress, a widow, and she, having been so resentful in her life towards both her husbands, along comes riding this white knight, fiery red cross, blazing on a white background to save the princess. So, Mr. Nice Guy, I mean, if you look up the etymology of the word nice, you'll see that originally it was a word meaning foolish. And you think about it, yeah, we use it in a different context. Can you really change the meaning of a word? But when you think about it, you know, when a child does something foolish, you do say, oh, aren't they nice? Bless them. Aren't they nice? They've got a lot to learn, though. Fool. It's what the fool represents. Somebody just beginning. Nice. Haven't got a personality yet. Haven't got any, haven't learned any lessons. Haven't learned to stand up for themselves or to argue in favour of their own beliefs or knowledge. Yeah, I agree. He's nice. So, this is around about August, September. Stepdad, he's barely been gone 12 months. The ink's still wet on his death certificate. And St. George spent a lot of time in my garden. Well, the bit of garden that I've fenced off and allowed the husk and stepdad to use. I spend a lot of time there daily. He's got a lot to say as well. I can hear him yapping on. Just strange because he's never got anything to say in the pub. He's guarded, got nothing to say. But now he's got her. And he's grasp. He's got a lot to say. A lot. So all I can hear is him talking. And straight away this has got my senses tingling. Is this somebody who, because he's such a conformist, underneath, he's quite controlling. And behind closed doors, he's actually a bit abusive. And by abusive, I mean emotionally, in a controlling way. How on earth I come into these conclusions just off little snippets of information? But I think the way this story is about to pan out, I think it proves my intuition accurate. So he's got a lot to say, spend a lot of time there. And it feels weird, strange, uncomfortable to me. I'm going out in my garden, my private property, and there's a stranger there. Enjoying the fruits of our labour, mine and the Beacon's labour, and the labour which built that home for stepdad. I think it's a bit insensitive. Feels a bit strange. But the husk is happy. So you just, bite your tongue and grin and bear it and see what's going to happen. And then just within days, this hasn't been going on long. He's literally in my garden one day, and then within a week, 10 days, he's ill. He's had to go into hospital, something to do with his appendix. When he comes out, he only needs 100% care. So, does he go to his house? And does he rest up in his house? And get whoever, his family, or the husk, whoever, to come and care for him? No. No, where does he shack up? Where does he put his feet up? In stepdad's bed. In the bed that he only died in 12 months ago. In the bed that he slept in every day. In the bed that he, had accidents in when he was on his last legs. Yeah, that bed. And he's, not only is he in the house, not only is he sleeping over in that bed, he's sick in that bed, and he's being cared for by, within 12 months, the same person that was just caring in exactly the same bed, exactly the same house, home, as our husband, who we love deeply, me and the Beacon. And he's just there, lying there. Just, he's got his own house, his own family, and he only lives a minute away. This is when alarm bells started to ring, that the pair of them just do not care. And this went on for over a week. And I just found it very, very, very uncomfortable. I do not know how a normally functioning, normal thinking, healthy thinking human being with emotions and a conscience can do that. You just, no, that's wrong. I'm not doing that. I'm not getting in that bed. And then there was a spell where he was there for something like 17 days and nights in a row, just living in the house that we built with our resources and our money, our time. For stepdad. Well, for the husk as well, but I'm just going to keep saying stepdad. And I'm starting to get a little bit annoyed at the build up to Christmas. And is the husk's behaviour changing as she's expressing to the Beacon how amazing she feels? And I bet you do. 100% undevoted. Sorry, 100% devoted, unwavering attention. I bet you're happy. And the Beacon, bless her, was happy for it. These early stages. And then as the weeks went past, has our behaviour changed? We're now approaching Christmas. And bearing in mind as well, timeline's slightly skewed because I've had to just drop things in certain places. But just bear this in mind. It was only soon, it was either just before or just after, when he was resting up in stepdad's bed. That was either just before or just after went out on the tall ship for the scattering of the ashes. So this is still in his face. It's in his face that we are still dealing with this. So that must be taken into account as well. He was aware, fully aware, that we still had unfinished business in relation to saying our goodbyes. Just because it finishes in the physical world doesn't mean it's finished in the emotional world. So, lead up to Christmas, has her behaviour changed? No. She seems to be getting almost worse. Beacon refers to it as hubris, which is the correct word to describe the, what you see on and the physical, in the outside physical world, it looks like hubris, like unwavering confidence when you shouldn't have it, and you always get yourself into trouble. Yeah, that's what it looks like. But what it really is, and that probably is accurate, but we can all be susceptible to a bit of that every now and again. I think what's going on here, she's getting so much attention. She's just becoming so full of herself. And I suppose this is hubris. But she's becoming more confident. I don't see hubris as something that you do to cause harm. It's just when you go into a situation with too much confidence and you make a tit of yourself. But what I saw was more and more and more and more confidence in hurting people, particularly the Beacon. It's like she was becoming more untouchable now that she had a protector, a knight in shining armour. She just started ramping up the hurtful treatment of the Beacon. But mainly the Beacon. I hope that makes sense. It's like she had a white knight by her side, and she thought that meant that somebody like me isn't going to come and attack. You know, attack in self-defense, but you know what I mean, attack. That's what I saw it as. That she feels safer. And I think I've covered this. When she feels safe, the real her shows a little, pokes its head out. Horrid person when she feels safe. So her safety levels have increased because she's got a white knight and she thinks he's going to protect her from me. I'm the only person that's going to challenge her. And that's what I think was going on there. So our behaviours became even more intolerable. And I think, oh, there's a deer. And I think that if you're following this story, I think you'll agree that I'm hit the nail on the head there. It's not hubris. It's safety. Not that she's going to make him, like she's going into something overly confident and confident when she shouldn't be. It's not. She's just a horrid person. And when she feels safe, she's going to attack. And he can't see it. Christmas was particularly unpleasant because we made the mistake of inviting him round, and I made the mistake of talking about a topic which was quite close to me and the Beacon. You know, when you think that people might actually understand something, your point of view on a certain cultural norm. That's all I'm going to say on it. It wasn't a controversial subject. It was just something they had never considered before. And the Beacon clearly didn't like me talking about this because she doesn't trust her mother with her feelings. And I didn't pick up on it. It's my fault. I'm sorry. Didn't pick up on it. And I kept talking about it. And the more I talked about it, the more the husk was just laughing, a fake laugh, as if I was stupid. And St. George was just laughing. They were like a couple of teenagers, teenage boys full of ego. And they don't understand something, so they just laugh. And then the other one laughs just to make the other one feel better. And then they both just feel better because they're both just laughing. So the other person, the person who's talking must be stupid because we're both just laughing. That's ego. That's teenage boys. And that's pathetic because you don't understand what I'm talking about because I'm too clever for you. I don't care how arrogant that sounds, it's true. I'm too clever for you. Now all you're doing is laughing. And obviously the beacon was getting angry. But ultimately, she was getting angry at me for talking about it. But ultimately, when we had a heart-to-heart afterwards, obviously she was angry at me. But what she was really angry with was how my brother was just trashing something that was close to her heart. And the beacon's perception was that she enjoyed watching a little bit of tension between me and the beacon. In other words, the husk actually enjoys getting between us. And I think that's right, because nearly everything she does gets between me and the beacon. If it wasn't for mine and the beacon's strength, we'd be long finished. And I don't mean just since the husk moved into our home. I mean long before that. So, and St. Michael was just laughing away like a child as well. None of them could read the room. None of them. Neither of them, sorry. Now, when you can't read the room, you've got a severe problem in terms of your emotional intelligence and your awareness. Completely unaware. Two husks sitting on a chair. Kissing. So, and then it was brought up the next day. I had a follow-up gathering the next day, and he brought it up. Like, the pair of them had no awareness that it was causing tension. Roadkill picked up on the tension, and she kind of distracted Beacon. So even Roadkill had enough awareness about her to pick up on it. Next day, like I say, St. George brings it up again. And I'm like, what is wrong with you two? Really starting to lose respect now. I've got nothing about them. So then after Christmas, I have them decided to go. They're going to go on holiday together. And they're going to go to Tenerife and to Las Cristianos. And then, they booked, as part of their Christmas present, the husk has booked him a surprise trip. Guess where? Keswick. To a place called Low Briery Holiday Park. So, if you thought sleeping in a dead man's bed is bad enough, I mean, that is the lowest of the low. Piece of trash in my book. But as if that wasn't enough, these two holidays, Tenerife and Keswick, particularly Low Brierley, are two places where she used to go with stepdad. Do you not think this is weird? Of all the holiday destinations, Tenerife, but not just Tenerife, Los Cristianos, the exact destination that he used to go there religiously with the husk, but also with his friends every year. Every single year for like 50 years or something. They used to have a sharing apartment, like a timeshare or whatever. Or they owned one. And then Keswick, not only are you going to Keswick, which is our place, which is where we've scattered these ashes. Not only are you going to Keswick, you're going to Low Brierley, which is the exact caravan park that they stopped in on 2 or 3 occasions. I mean, it wouldn't surprise us if it was the same bloody caravan, if it was the same bed Why would that surprise us? And this is just weird, bizarre behaviour. The Beacon put it down to just the sort of lack of imagination. But, you know, I think he wanted to go to Tenerife, or it was his suggestion, and the Husk just says yes, because she's not going to say no to St. George, is she? She's never going to say no. She's never said no to anybody. She's certainly not going to start saying to St. George. And obviously St. George loves the control. Neither of them, I doubt either of them would even give this a thought. So yeah, let's pick up in the next entry at the Tenerife holiday.